You might find this hard to believe, but I was running out of topics, so I went to ChatGPT. I have 6 questions that I have yet to read. I just printed them in today's video. So what does the world of ChatGPT want to know about real estate in 2025 as we sit here filming toward the end of May 2025? Stay tuned. Like I said, I haven't read these yet. 6 questions from ChatGPT. Number 1, the interest rate trends. Will the rates drop in late 2025? Guys, I don't know. I think what the Fed is trying to do is let prices drop and then the rates will drop. Because as of right now, this is May 20th, 2025, the 30-year fixed loan, as of yesterday anyway, was 7.04%. So it's hard to say. Should I buy now or wait? That's a loaded question. I think right now is actually a great time to buy. Prices have been coming down. They're better than what they were between 2020 to 2021. So if it's fitting in your lifestyle and your timing, nobody can time the market. Just remember that. Buy to create the lifestyle that you want, the memories that you want. We only have one life. Live it. Creative ways to lower your mortgage rate, like buy downs and assumable mortgages. Yes, I have seen a few listings out on the market advertising assumable rates like 2 and 3, 4%. That's a creative way to be able to acquire a piece of property if that rate is assumable. Number 2 topic, affordability hacks. So they've got 3 questions within this question. How to buy your first home down without 20%. So there's FHA, there's VA. You can buy a home with, I believe they're still at 3.5% down. I don't know if there are any 100% financing programs out there. I'm not sure of that. I can find out if any of you all are interested. But that's what created the Great Recession. In the United States, the average homeowner, 40% of homeowners own their homes outright, which is really, really great. I wonder what that would have been in the Great Recession. I'm not really sure. But I advise buying a home with 20% down because then you avoid these extra nonsense fees like PMI, private mortgage insurance. Okay, number 2 question under affordability hacks, co-buying, how friends and family are teaming up to get into the market. I don't recommend this. I've seen it backfire. I don't know. Buying with a friend or family member can get you in some hot water. So I usually push people away from doing that. But there are ways around it, so get with your girl. Okay. Affordability hack question 3, renovation loans explained, like the FHA 203K, Fannie Mae Homestyle. I've done a couple of the 203K loans in my career. They're definitely not very common in my wheelhouse, not to say they're not common in the marketplace, and they might become more affordable or more common in this 2025 and beyond market. But it is an option to be able to renovate a home and put that money into the actual loan and your loan payment. Okay, number 3 question, local market shifts. And under that, we have 3 questions. What's happening in your area? That's a loaded question because this area is Manasota Key. And we are finally seeing on Manasota Key some action. After the storm damage, as you can see here, they're rebuilding, they're tearing down. This market is different than Anna Maria market, is different than Lakewood Ranch market, is different than Osprey, Nokomis, Venice. These are wide area markets that really have to be dissected. I will say in a general sense, keep tabs on the playlist because every single month I post the very detailed market stats in the channel. But from a general sense, the Sarasota area market, I feel like is getting new buzz. Like the stock market's kind of back up to where it was in February. I'm seeing anyway. I'm not a stock market expert. But because that's kind of healthier, now that we've kind of subsided things for now with China, the tariffs, are paused with China right now, that has really helped our market. And when people feel wealthier, they are more inclined to buy real estate. Okay, 3 neighborhoods that are heating up or cooling off. I would say like the Lakewood Ranch area was heating up for quite a while because there was huge demand for brand new construction. I have a sense that that has cooled off, and now the islands kind of are going to see a little bit of a surge. I could be wrong, but that's kind of my sense of things. Now, there's still definitely incredible incentives with builders that are hard to beat, like when you're dealing with a resale as a comparable. For example, buying down your interest rate for a 30-year fix. I've got a transaction right now that's a resale, and we agreed to buy the rate down for the buyer too as part of our negotiation. So it doesn't have to be new construction. So, ask me about that and how we can creatively put a deal together in 2025 and beyond. So, hidden gems in your city where your money goes further. Well, I have a perfect example of that. I have a listing downtown Sarasota, 555 North Orange, Unit 307, in the Citrus Residences building. It's $799 and it's smaller, but it's a solid build. Walk to everything. You don't need to have a car there. It's affordable in the sense that it's probably the lowest HOA fee of all of downtown Sarasota at $17.50 per quarter. Phenomenal opportunity there. Gated, secure, really, really quaint, cozy, very European style. We got a video about that in the Rosemary district where it sits. So that's probably one of my favorite, more affordable opportunities for the lower HOA fees. Hidden gem, Rosemary district. Okay, seller strategy. This is the fourth kind of overall question. Should I sell in a high interest market? Again, the timing is something that I can't tell a buyer or a seller, right? I can't tell you now's the time to buy, now's the time to sell. People don't generally need to buy, but they do generally need to sell, like health issues, divorce. There's all kinds of reasons why someone really has to sell. And so that's a trickier topic, but if you have a choice, I would say, now is a good time to sell if you're motivated and you're realistic and, we have a lot of supply. Sarasota County has more available single family homes than Manatee County right now. So it just depends on your market, but high interest rate market, we don't know when the rates are going to go down. It could be 2 years, it could be 3 years. If you really want to make a move and you have equity in your home or you don't have that much, it still could be a good time for you. So again, it just depends on what you have going on in your life. Get with me. Underseller strategy. How to attract buyers when affordability is tight. I think the biggest thing right now is just price. It's something that a seller can control. We can't control the interest rates, Another thing, out here on the islands, we're seeing restoration liens and restorations happening. You can offer credits to the buyer. I think moreover than that, to get the buyer's attention outside of photos, there's no big magical piece of advertising that's going to do that. It's price. Price is part of your advertising. Commissions are part of your advertising. Offering a buyer's agent the full 3% commission. We get calls on our listings, and one of the first questions an agent's going to ask is, what is your seller offering for commission? It's just part of the deal. When they have a lot of options and they don't want to pay the buyer agent commission, they'll go on to the next property. Pay the agents. Third in the seller strategy, staging on a budget. What actually works in 2025? I tell you what works. So when I go in and list a property, I stage their house based on what they have. So we can either get a storage unit, put extra stuff in their garage, and use what a seller has. I try not to spend much of my seller's money, but I do spend it wisely, like painting, decluttering. I do the staging for them. I definitely have that eye for what works, what doesn't, especially on camera. So, things look differently on photos and in smaller on your mobiles. So less is more, I would say. But other than that, we do virtual staging, which really works. And again, a great example of that would be 555 North Orange. The house I'm standing in right now, as well as the house next door that I have listed, 1210 and 1214 Gulf Boulevard, Englewood. They're both virtually staged because these are brand new homes. And quite frankly, I didn't want to have my clients spend the money to stage these properties. I don't think it's necessary. So these are just, we've got options for you. So, and if you're way too cluttered and we need to toss things or sell them, that we can work through as well. Number 5, smart investing. There's 3 questions underneath this. What makes a good rental in today's market? You know, first impressions are really important. So again, less is more. Stick with like a 3-color scheme. Don't have more than 3 colors per room or per in the house, because the eye is just kind of gets confused and it's not relaxing for the person purchasing or renting the home or whatever. It's just less appealing. So less is more with colors as well. Don't have a lot of clutter. Photos are obviously really important for an Airbnb. I have that little Airbnb. You could check it out. And I think I've only had like 2 weeks vacant this year. And it's been consistently rented because I had professional photography, professional staging. I actually did hire a decorator to pick out furniture for me. But once that was done, it was done, one-time thing. Is Airbnb still worth it in 2025? From personal experience, yes. I just sold a house on Driftwood in South Sarasota, and he just closed, and they actually didn't even have the professional photos back yet, and he already has 2 bookings. So absolutely, I'm a big fan of Airbnb. Yes, Airbnb and VRBO, although I like Airbnb. It's more user-friendly. The transaction process is just more user-friendly, I find, but either or. How investors are adapting to higher rates. Like I'm here in Minnesota right now because I'm showing it to a potential investor. He's, possibly wanting to purchase this to rent it. This sits in Charlotte County, so you can technically rent this nightly. So this would be a phenomenal rental. This house I'm standing in right now is the 1210 Gulf property, and it would garner about $1,000 per night because it's a 6-bedroom, brand new house. Boom, walk to the beach. Boom, easement over there, easement over there. So, heated saltwater pool and spa and all of that. Walk to the bars and restaurants. And last but not least, question number 6, the emotional side of moving. There's 2 questions underneath this heading. Why this market feels so hard for buyers and how to stay sane. I think if you have an agent working alongside you, advising you, it's less scary, it's less emotional. It's our job to kind of parse through like what really works based on your wants and needs and what doesn't. And really, you don't have to see everything on the market. That's my job, right? You don't need to see all 5 homes on the block, right? Because, it's a little redundant. What if you don't even like the neighborhood, right? So we save time and effort, and really having a professional guide, I would highly, highly recommend. And last but not least, under the emotional side of moving, the psychology behind pricing a home correctly. Well, in a buyer's market, I suggest pricing it like $1 under appraised value to get the attention. I think in a general sense, like higher days on the market are not in the seller's favor. So it's a psychological thing. It's hard for sellers to do this when they feel like they're undercutting it, but they're really not. Ultimately, let's say it's worth $800 or $810 is the appraised value, but you list it at $799. You're feeling like that's too low, but really in reality, if you start at $850 and you waited and lowered it to $825 and then $799 in 60 days or 90 days, the buyers are then saying, why didn't someone, this is so fabulous, why didn't somebody scoop this up, or what's wrong with it? So less days on the market, psychological. I know, it's really hard. Anyway, it's summer here officially. It's hot. It's probably going to be 90 degrees today, but look at this. Look at this. I've got great inventory, everybody. And if you're looking from Anna Maria down to Minnesota Key, I got you. New construction, I got you. Questions like this or others, I got you too. Thank you for watching, sharing, commenting, liking, subscribing. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you. 941-544-7690 is how you can reach me.